speak liberal, they have liberal friends, and then they go online and they are a white supremacist.
This is Vera Papisova. She spent the last year dating far-right men in New York City for a story for Cosmopolitan magazine.
They're the most insecure men I've ever sat down with. It was really difficult to have some of these dates because they were so insecure, because they don't really know who they are and they don't know how to figure that out.
I find this to be so fascinating. So that's an independent journalist, Vera Papisova, talking with CNN's Donie O'Sullivan. And she really did want to understand these men. And so she put, theoretically her life where her mouth is in terms of wanting to find out about that, and went on literally dozens of dates with far-right men. And she learned a lot about them. She talks there about insecurity. She also talks about where they get the news from and how that seems to cause a lot of problems for them. They basically just get it from the manosphere. There's not wide-ranging books and other sources. That's just kind of the problem. And she goes into that in a little bit more of the interview.
The thing about these guys is their biggest support system is online, but that also is very isolating, and isolation is what breeds hatred.
Groups like Patriot Front offer community, but community based on racism and hate.
People have to really think about, do you have the capacity to talk to people that you don't agree with? Because that one nice conversation you might have might change someone's day enough to not have to seek out help in an online support group, which is actually a bunch of white supremacists using political beliefs as an excuse for how they feel.
And I want to give you some of the specific things that happened on these dates. So she matched with 60 men. She went on 26 different dates. One of them apparently was a man who had previously sent her a death threat that he would kill her slowly. That was when she was a magazine editor covering abortion and sexual assault, but she still went out with the guy. And apparently on the date, Jared said, if we lived in a different time, we would be hanging white liberal whores in the town square and dragging them through the streets for the lies they spread. That was the first date. So he's honest about who he is, I guess, at least once you meet up with him. One guy named Tom said this when she asked about the biblical patriarchy: women should be submissive to their husbands, and some people believe they should be trained. It's about knowing your role in nature. It's undesirable for women to be too independent. As a man, I want to take care of you, and I believe in that biology. That's not what biology is. The liberal women I've dated emasculate men with their aggressive energy. No, they don't just become aggressive just because you're so weak and fragile. That's not how it works. That's about you, not about them. Brian said this: a real man provides discipline, and any talking back or acting out is asking for punishment. So this isn't great. Like she gave him a real try, and a lot of these guys just really suck. She concludes saying, a lot of my dates seem to express that they felt lost without a solid definition of what a man is. And even if they did feel like they checked all the boxes for some specified male role, they still felt like they were getting left behind. Many of their ideologies seem to be built on this perceived rejection and a desire to revert back to how, quote, things used to be. A conclusion I came to is that these men feel like most people, including the mass media, don't take the time or have no interest in taking the time to understand them or where they come from. Valid or not, they seem to compound their feelings of isolation, which in turn bred a lack of curiosity on their part, furthering their own intolerances. And finally, after all these dates, I started to answer my own questions. I was too different from them in ways that made romantic or sexual attraction impossible. Despite my willingness to be open to anything, none of my dates progressed beyond talking, and that's 26 of them. And so the issue, I think, like, these men didn't all independently come to the conclusion that we're doomed and it's because of feminism. They are fed this by grifters who want them to be dependent on them, who want them to have unsatisfying or non-existent romantic relations. They don't want them to be going out and having sex. They want them to be angry and resentful and jealous and entitled and dependent. Buy their supplements, buy their merch, download the latest episode. That's what they want. There are people who actually want to help men in these difficult times. I would say that Brett and myself are like that. There's others on the network, JR, Jordan, and others who want to help them out. But the Andrew Tates of the world, the Matt Walshes, the whatever, they just want you to be broken, conveniently and profitably broken for their benefit. What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, and the stuff that these guys see as the problem is that women found a solution to the guys being the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy, that is the problem. Like everything you're saying, you're just being like, I would liked it when women had no choice. They had to do everything that I said. That's not good if you're anyone but a man. You see that? Now, what they're so frustrated with is women can choose in this world. Women can choose to fill that role. But what does it say about that setup and dynamic that you outlined that fewer and fewer women are choosing it? It's because it sucks. Also, like, I guarantee you, if you were good at winning, like in the corporate world or whatever, you would get to a higher level by not being like that.
Yeah.
All the rest of that world you paint, you're better at it when you work with women, when you respect that they like are, what's the word? People. Like it's their frustration, and they say it and they don't realize they're saying it. Their frustration is that people got out of bondage.
Yeah. And they're
mad that that women are no longer shackled to a kitchen.
Yep.
That's
and
insanity.
they would say this is a natural distribution. It is only natural that men have some advantages and women have other. But I've always gone with you ever had the best way that you separate like a cake is one person cuts and the other person chooses which slice they get. These men, if it was cut in the way they want, they would only choose the male side. None of them would be like, well, there's equal benefits on both. I'll choose women. No, dude, in everything, they want to automatically be given the superior position. That's what they want.
I would choose staying at home and not doing anything. Are you kidding me? That sounds awesome. Someone taking care of me and I just sit there and I make food. That sounds great. But in this scenario I'm talking about, that's still if I had the choice to do that. You got to preserve the choice, or else it's okay, we gotta like, go. We gotta go. It's not freedom. And I thought all these guys running, like the people running around with the American flags in their little groups, like they don't like freedom, is what that means.
No, they don't. They want people to be subjugated along lines that keep them unsubjugated and free, and in fact elevated.
If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?